Hello and welcome, I'm Zombie Kitty and welcome to another Saw related video. So Saw X comes out tomorrow at the time that this will be uploaded. So I thought this is something I've had on my schedule for a while. Originally this was going to be like a top 10 or a tier list of the traps, but I thought it would be more interesting to actually do a tier list of the posters. So if you look down here, I will say the only exception is we do not have the Saw X poster. So what I'm probably going to do is take a look at what the posters we have at the moment and go from there. Maybe I'll do that separately. I won't put that in the tier list, but just be like, okay, this is the ones I like, this is the ones I don't like at the moment. So yeah, so I just thought this would be interesting to do another tier list type video. So I have put them in order now. The first thing I am going to do is, you will notice if you look down here on the top line, all these are I think they were the new Blu-ray covers. So we're going to put them all in one place because we're putting them in D. I hate all of them. I don't like them. This one is included as well, by the way. This one does not escape. The final chapter one does not escape. I don't like them. I think they're really bland. They were released as like, oh, here's the special edition, like Blu-rays. And yeah, they look really boring, really bland, and I don't like any of them. So they're going in D. Okay, so I will just say, I have noticed that the final chapter one is actually round here. Where was it? This one. Okay, so that's final chapter, but this is a different like Blu-ray cover. I still don't really like this particular cover though, so yeah, that still goes in D. So let's start with Saw 1. So we've got the original black reverse bear trap, Amanda Young in the reverse bear trap. Very iconic. Very iconic image of the reverse bear trap, which is now famous to the franchise. I really like it. I quite like sort of simple, like simplistic posters. So I'm going to put this, you know what, I'm going to put this in S tier because it's simplistic, it's dark, it's gritty looking, and again it's a very simple image. And also it's mysterious, like what is that on her head? Because at the time people didn't know what Saw was. So they would have been like, what the hell is going on in this poster? What is that on her head? And again, it's iconic. The next one is the arm and the foot. I am not that keen on this one. I think it's eye-catching, definitely, but there were, when Saw got released, there were two posters. One is of the hand and one is of the severed foot. This just feels like they just slapped them both together and was like, yep, cool, done. So, I mean, at the same time, it does, it's definitely eye-catching and sort of shows you what the film is probably going to be like. So I just think it looks a bit lazy in its presentation, to be honest, because I know that that's two separate posters. So I'm going to put this, you're not good enough for A, I'm going to put you in B. So B tier. Aha! So this is the severed hand one on its own. So the severed hand one is here. I really like it, even though we don't get a severed hand. I don't know why they chose a hand for this actually, because we don't get a severed hand in the first film, it's a foot. So I don't know, I think again maybe it was eye-catching or something, I don't know. What should I put you in? Again, it's simplistic, it's eye-catching, but there isn't a severed hand in the first film. I'll put you in A. Because I quite like this one. I don't think it's bad enough to be, or I think it's better than a B. So this is a mixture of a couple of posters. So it was, I think the reverse bear trap was the S, if you can see it here. The A is Billy, so that's the puppet, and then the W was the pig mask. And then this poster has mashed them together. I've seen this one before, and I honestly thought it was fan made, if I'm completely honest. I'm not really that keen on it. It's gritty, and I guess it fits the theme of Saw, but at the same time it does look a very cheap, like, fan made poster. So I'm not really, it's fine, but I'm not that overly keen on it. You're going in S. Some of these I might be really decisive on, and then some of them I probably won't be. I'll just be like, I don't know. So, Saw 2. Okay, I quite like the posters for Saw 2, because I think, again, this is the thing with the Saw posters, is that they're very eye-catching. And this was definitely an eye-catching one. I think this was banned in the UK, actually. Because I remember when I was living in London, we had one of those big billboards that you pass, and this was definitely on it at one point. And then it got banned in the UK, and they had to change the fingers to like a close-up, so you couldn't see the little stubs at the end. I really like this one. I don't like it as much as the next one, but I really like it. And I guess it was an interesting way to like show that this was the second film of like the two fingers. I'm going to put you in A, because I do quite like it. It's very, again, simplicity, and it's a very eye-catching way to like show you like, yes, this is the second film. I will say I prefer this next one. So this is actually a direct reference to the opening scene of the film, where there's a guy in a trap, and the key to unlock his trap is behind his eye. So this is definitely like a direct reference to that particular film. And also it looks kind of, you know, it looks creepy as well. Oh, I really want to put you in S tier. Yeah, let's put you in S tier. Because it's creepy looking as well. I mean, all of them are, but this is like especially creepy looking because these two definitely like are in the film. They're featured in the film, so you know what you're going to get. Like, this is the horror that you're going to end up with, like, seeing. And then we're back to stuff that didn't appear in that film. So, Saw 3, again, I remember this poster being on like buses and stuff, and again it's really gritty and yucky, but again, teeth weren't featured in the third film. But it's a really interesting use of the number 3 again, so it's using body parts to like show you that this is the particular entry in the film, but again kind of bumps it down to like, oh, like this wasn't featured at all in the film. And I think overall it looks fine, but it's not, I don't know, it's not anything amazing. The more I'm talking, I'm gonna put you in B, because the more I'm thinking, I'm like, put you in B. So the next one is Saw 3. It's just of John Kramer. I don't know, this one's fine. I like the way that the letters look. It looks like they've been burnt into the poster. Yeah, it just looks fine. There's nothing much to it. It doesn't really interest me that much. There's nothing that, I mean, aside from John Kramer, there's nothing really interesting or eye-catching to look at compared to the previous ones. So you're going in C, because I don't hate it, but it's not anything amazing compared to the previous posters that we've seen. These next ones, however, are. So this is, again, what was interesting about some of the posters is they had sort of symbolism to what each film or entry meant. So with this one, so it's the head in the scales. That is confirming that John Kramer is now dead in the fourth film. It opens up with the autopsy scene, and that's what this is representing. And again, I think it's simplistic, I think it's really eye-catching, and it's a direct reference to something or an implication of what you're going to see in that film. I'm going to put you in A. I was about to start talking about the next one for Saw 4, but to be honest, I already know where I'm going to put it. So this is the hair trap that, again, is a direct reference to the fourth film, one of the traps that is going to be in that film. the full images of the victim wearing a pig mask and sitting in that chair that the trap is attached to, I really, really like it. I think it's really interesting looking, and again, it's a direct reference to one of the traps in the film. I keep talking, but I've already made my mind up of where it's going. You're going in S tier, because I really like this poster. I think it's a really striking image. I mean, again, all of them are, but to me, that's the one that really, like, pops out, because especially with the lighting on that one, you're just like, wait, what is that? And with what the victim is sitting on, it sort of draws attention. Saw 5. This is the box trap, which technically wasn't really a trap, to be honest. There was purposefully, oh my god, I can't speak. Purposefully not an escape route for this one. But I like the imagery of Agent Strom's like head sort of. It looks as if he's been like spinning his head on like fast mode. And I guess there's a reference to like the editing style and the fast-paced editing style that the film has. I think this one's fine. Again, I think this one's okay. It's not anything interesting to look at to a certain extent, but it is quite striking because again, you're wondering like, okay, what is that? What is that gonna do? I'm debating whether to put you in A or B. No, I think I'd put you in A because while it's not a favourite one of mine, I think it does still have mystery. It does still look quite striking, quite interesting, and yeah, it just has a lot of mystery attached to it. So, and it's an interesting image as well. So yeah, you're going in A. This next one I really like actually as well. You might go in A as well. Because again, this comes back to like, oh, some of the posters had like symbolism to what each entry meant. So Saw 5, the symbolism behind this with the person in this poster wearing John Kramer as like faces a mask is that there's going to be other people who will want to take his place. Which to be fair, I feel like this should have been the poster for Saw 4 because that was also a big theme of that film. So but I think it's quite an interesting image, and especially with the symbolism that it's trying to convey, I think is really interesting. Now again, I've already decided where I'm putting this one. This is for Saw 5 apparently. I've admittedly never seen this one before. It looks fan made, but I don't know if it is. There's a lot of these kind of posters when the Saw franchise sort of came out and the entries came out. There was a lot of posters that were like, looked as if they were official but weren't. And even with Saw X coming out, there's been a lot of amazing fan art, but it has been mistaken for being official. So it's nice that the theme still goes on. Yeah, you're going in C, because I'm not really that keen on the imagery. It doesn't, for Saw 5, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, and it looks fan made. So, to be honest, it probably isn't. But again, there's so much like artwork for each Saw film that sometimes fan art does get mistaken for being official. Again, I don't know if this is fan made, and I apologise, but you are going at the bottom. Purely because I don't like this one. It doesn't really mean anything to me. There's no, I don't know, it's not very striking, it's not very interesting to look at, there's no symbolism to it. I don't really know what the poster is supposed to be of. And yeah, it just doesn't look that interesting to me. But you are going at the top. I actually had this poster at one point for Saw 6. So this is of the carousel, which is one of my favourite traps actually. But again, I really like the imagery. I love the little spiral in the middle, that's so cool. And again, it's very sort of simplistic. And has a mystery to it. So yeah, I've always liked this poster. Yoink! So again, this is for Saw 6, so if you can't see what it is, it's a hand and an arm, but the arm has been undone as if it's like made of shoelaces. And again, the imagery and the symbolism of these sort of images in these posters is something I've always really liked with the Saw promotion. promotional material, and this is no exception. Like, this is really interesting because I guess at first glance it could be like, okay, that's not really anything much, but then you start to think about what that means, and it's like, oh. But I really like this one. I think it's really cool, and again, this is for Saw 6, so yeah, I really like this one. I'm kind of it's weird because some of these posters I'm kind of like, yes, I just like them because I like them. So I'm sort of running out of reasons for some of them to like them, but it's like, with some of them I'm definitely sort of making my mind up before even talking. I'm like, yes, I definitely know I'm going to put that there. So this is apparently still for Saw 6. I'm going to put this in C. Again, this could be official, this could be fan-made, I don't really know. It's just John. I don't really know what else to say. For me personally, I don't think it's that interesting to look at. Never really has been. So yeah, it's just not anything interesting, but I don't hate it. Okay, don't think I'm weird for that one. But I'm putting this Saw 3D poster into A. I don't know, I've always kind of liked it. It's really weird and doesn't make any sense. Really doesn't make any sense. The only thing I could think of was that the symbolism is that Saw 3D was supposed to be the last film, and the only thing I can think of is that the statue's being made to be like, here's his legacy or something, and that kind of thing, or like, we're doing this in memory of the past of what's been, like this is ending now and that's what's been. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, that doesn't really make any sense now, you know, 3 films after that. I've always liked this one just because of how weird it is and just how completely random it is. So yeah. And then we get onto the 3D ones. So these were the actual 3D posters. So I really like these. They look a little silly now, especially the heart pounding one. But the eye popping one I really like. For people who say that the Saw X poster with the eye tube thing looks awful, you didn't see these on the side of the buses at the time of the release. This eye one was definitely on the side of a bus, I remember that. I really like it. I'm actually going to put you in S tier, because I really like this one. I think it's really striking, and it makes sense with because the slogan for that poster was now in eye-popping 3D. So yeah, makes a lot of sense, and of course it's Saw, so they're going to be graphic with the imagery. This one I don't like as much. I'm going to put this in A. So the motto for this one was now in heart-pounding 3D. So again, the little things here are actual fists doing that, which I think is really interesting. Again, it's really interesting imagery, but I don't like it as much as the eye-popping one. I don't think it's as striking, and you can only see the fists at the end of the heart here if you're looking closely. So you can't really notice them otherwise. But I definitely liked the marketing for Saw 3D. Again, putting this one in A because I don't like it as much as the other one. I cannot remember what the mind-blowing 3D. Okay, that's what the slogan for this one was called. So again, it's John Kramer's head like exploding. So again, I really like the imagery that goes with the slogan. I think that's really cool. And again, it's for a gory horror film, so they can kind of go a bit nuts with the visuals. But I don't like this one as much as I still think the eye-popping one is the best one, just because of how striking it is. So next we're moving on to Jigsaw. So Jigsaw had a few posters actually. I will say up front, I'm not keen on these ones. So the posters that were released for this campaign had different actors in the Billy makeup, which admittedly is really cool. You know, about time they did that kind of thing. I'm personally not the biggest fan of them. I think they look pretty cool though, so I don't completely hate it, and I like the concept behind this. But I think, I don't know, I don't really like looking at it, to be honest. But it's also, the whole like marketing of this was supposed to be like, oh, it's a cult of Jigsaw and now these people are following in his footsteps. And spoilers, Jigsaw doesn't go into that at all. They sort of start to imply it and then fart away that idea. So it doesn't even hold up, to be honest, which is a shame. I'm going to put you in B, because I don't hate you, I don't even dislike, I'm just not that keen on it. But I think it's a really interesting idea to put these different actors and these different people in the Billy makeup to, you know, symbolise an idea they didn't end up going with anyway. And these are kind of the same idea with the pig masks. This one I personally don't like that much. Again, I get what they were going for, but the image is way too blurry to actually properly focus on the image, on the picture. It's someone in the pig head mask. But yeah, the image is just a bit too blurry for my liking, so I'm not really that keen on it. This one I really like. I actually have this poster. I have the cinema poster of this image, and I really, really like it. I think it's really cool. I might put you in S, actually. Just because I really like this one. The full image, again, is the pig head mask actually being hung up as if it's like on a coat hanger, and I think one of the posters has it next to like a jacket or something to like symbolise that, again, like Jigsaw has now become part of everyday life, like, or become part of people's lives. Again, bringing in that idea of the cult of Jigsaw thing, which never came to light, but I think it's really interesting, a really interesting image. And I like the black and white with that one as well, actually. So again, this is the similar kind of thing of the people in the Billy makeup. Again, it's fine. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So that's going in B as well, because it's part of the same poster campaign. And finally, Spiral. So, I have to admit, I don't like these posters as much as the others, because they seem so vastly different compared to, well, every other poster really. These come across more of like, and I guess it was to a certain extent, more of like a crime thriller more than a horror film, which, to be fair, Spiral kind of was, really. But I don't think these ones are as striking as the previous posters. I do like this one though. So I think this was the very first poster of Chris Rock shining the torch to the spiral on the wall, indicating that it's restarting, 10 years later, whatever it was. So I really, really like this poster. I'm not going to put you in S tier because I don't think it's like an amazing poster or anything, but it was definitely a good sort of introduction to be like, yes, this is starting again. Again, I'll probably put the rest in C if I'm completely honest. The IMAX one, again, fine. I don't really like the imagery too much, to be honest. And again, this, with the one with Chris Rock actually in the poster, it kind of comes back to like what I was saying earlier, where it's like the posters for Spiral seem more like a crime film than a horror film, which again, to be fair, they were, but I just don't think they're as striking as the previous posters. So yeah, for some reason there's two versions. It's the same poster, by the way, but there's two posters of Saw 5, and I don't really get why. So this is my tier list for the Saw posters. I want to have a look and see what the posters are for Saw X. So starting with the first one. So I remember when this came out and everyone just went, wait, what? How's that supposed to work? So this is to do with probably the most striking trap so far in the new film, and the one that's been promoted the most, is the eyeball vacuum trap. Yes, that is actually what it's called. This is really striking. I actually really like this poster because, again, it's simplistic. You've got the tubes crossing over to symbolise the X, and again, it's mysterious. Like, I mean, now we know what that means, but at the time it was a bit like, what on earth is going on there? Especially with the actual goggles part, like people thought, okay, well that's just them doing mad, crazy imagery again. No, that's actually what the victim is wearing. I really like it. I think it's really cool poster. Gruesome, yes, but again, this is Saw. This is such an awful pun. I don't mean to make it really eye-catching one to be like, yes, there's going to be a new Saw film out. So this next one's actually really interesting. So this is, I think, a Mayan decoration, but the slogan is the 10th chapter cuts through time. So if you don't know, I think I get what this is symbolising, or what this means. If you don't know, Saw X is set in between Saw 1 and Saw 2. So yeah, it's a bit complicated, but yeah, I think that's what the slogan or the tagline is referring to. But what's interesting is, I think there was a post on Facebook a while back that actually pointed out that all of these little images on the circle are actually different Saw traps from the previous films, or they're references from the previous entries, which I think is really cool. Again, I really like this poster. I think it's really cool, and the attention to detail, once you actually look properly at the posters, at this particular poster and all the detailing, it's really cool. So I will be up front, there is one that I was going to show, but I don't know if YouTube will let me. So all I'm going to say is it's 3 images on top of each other, like sort of going down, so you have an eyeball at the top, in the middle is like a heart, and then at the bottom is a saw. So it's supposed to symbolise I love Saw. That's what it's supposed to read out as. I'm not going to include it here because I don't know if YouTube will let me do that. Not really sure. So I don't really want to risk it. But again, it's simplistic. It's fine. I think it's more funny than anything else. Like, they knew what they were doing with that one. They had a sense of humour. And then the last one I'll show, because I don't think there's been any more posters released for Saw X at the moment, but this one is for the 4DX screening or format. And this really reminds me of, if you've ever seen the poster for The Descent, which was to do with the female cave people who, they went into the caves and found creatures in there. It really reminds me of that. So this is Billy the puppet being assembled out of, like, the caption says its arm are like human parts, but it just seems to be arms and a couple of feet. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, if you look back, it just looks like Billy, but if you look closer, you can see all the details, a bit like that Mayan poster as well. And again, in true Saw fashion, of course, they're going to be a bit gruesome with what the detailing is. But I think it's a really interesting poster. Again, it's fine. I think it's pretty cool with what they've done with the symbolism and stuff. I think, to be honest, a lot of the posters for Saw X have been really good. Like, the promotional material and the marketing and stuff has been really good. I've been quite impressed with it, actually. But I definitely think this one has, I think that's probably the best one so far. It's definitely striking. And yeah, I definitely remember when it came out, like, people were being like, what the hell is that? What's going on? So I definitely prefer this one, I think, more than the others. This was my tier list of all the Saw posters. I probably didn't look at all of the Saw X ones because I don't know what else has been released for that. And again, one of them, I don't want to risk, like, showing it. So, you know, YouTube and everything, I don't really want to risk it. So yeah, this was fun. This was very interesting. I'm quite surprised by my tier list as well, actually. But yeah, and yeah, I thought I'd just do this because Saw X is coming out tomorrow. At the time of recording, the pre-order, the pre-booking thing hasn't opened for the UK. UK cinemas aren't very good with like pre-booked tickets. They're not very good with that kind of stuff, so I'll probably just get a ticket on the actual day or the day before or something. But yeah, so at the time this is uploaded, Saw X comes out tomorrow, but for me right now as I'm recording, it's not for like another week. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye!